Very good afternoon and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. We are going to continue to see this heat progress as we move towards the weekend. Heights are building, temperatures are rising, and we could, believe it or not, threaten some northern Scotland records for heat as we move through the course of this weekend. If you're enjoying the content here, you know what to do. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and also hit that subscribe button. Getting ever closer now to 7,000 subscribers. I greatly appreciate each and everybody's support, but absolutely free content 7 days a week. Rainfall, a big concern over central and eastern areas of Europe. If we look first and foremost at the visible satellite, you can see the massive cloud, particularly over Eastern Europe. Severe thunderstorms. We've got much fresher air moving into this part of the world, and when you've got cooler air in the mid and upper levels and cleaner, fresher air moving in, we've got a frontal system that is activating some very heavy thunderstorms across parts of Romania, Bulgaria, up into Ukraine, up into the Baltic region as well. You can actually see some of these thunderstorms erupting just ahead of the frontal system. And this is, the cool down is coming at a price. All the while, as that system pulls into Eastern Europe, we're seeing the pressure building thanks to the presence of a trough that is driving eastwards over the North Atlantic. And essentially what we're seeing is frontal systems moving through and heights rising behind that. That has been really the story of this summer so far, that we've seen Atlantic weather systems moving through, but then the pressure builds and the heat returns in a fairly frequent basis. The big difference this time around is that while some parts of southeastern England has seen 2 heat waves reached, this will be the first heat wave for a pretty widespread area of Ireland, Northern Ireland and Scotland. Folks up here in the north have missed out largely in the heat so far this summer. That's a very different story coming up this time around here. I'm going to have a quick look as well at the possible breakdown of this heat as we move into next week. A lot of uncertainty in terms of the timing of a frontal system, but you can see here the visible satellite imagery, the thunderstorms blowing up ahead of the boundary. We've got the heavy precipitation seen by the EU Metsat. I always struggle to pronounce that, but EU Metsat. That's it. I'll get there in the end. You can see here a few showers over parts of Aberdeenshire, Northwest Highlands, and over the Western Isles. But generally speaking, it's high and dry and warm. These are the current temperatures then across Europe. You can see the warmth are starting to rebuild once again out of Iberia towards the southern UK. Temperatures into the mid, even some high 20s, returning to the southeast. But look at the fresher air moving in across central and particular eastern areas of Europe. Ahead of that, we've got plenty of heat. And as that boundary reaches that heat, we are seeing the thunderstorms erupt as a consequence. Temperatures very warm, upper 30s, low 40s, Greece and Turkey, as can be seen here. This is the pressure pattern over the next few days. You can see that trough driving the cooler, fresher air, stormier conditions across eastern areas of Europe. There's the heights rising behind that system, and we've also got this trough over the North Atlantic and Greenland. Watch what happens as we see the trough deepen over the Atlantic. That's then forcing the heights to rise. Upper divergence, we're going to start to see strong subsidence thickness values reaching near enough the criteria that was seen back during the last heat spell that they produced mid-30s in southern England. And as you can see here, as that trough then deepens into the North Atlantic, we do have a trough moving into Iberia that is going to temper the heat, and it's actually forcing the core of hottest weather further north this time around. We've not seen that this summer so far. There's the trough still over eastern areas of Europe. Continue to play through into the weekend. You can see here the most anomalous heights in the upper levels is actually over the Norwegian Sea, northern UK. We've got lower heights down over Iberia and over France. So this is an area of high pressure that is somewhat different to the last. Look at how far south this trough is then digging. And there's going to be a frontal system associated with this trough that will be edging across Ireland and approaching the western side of the UK as we move into the day on Sunday and Monday. Now, if we look at the precipitation graphic here off the ECMWF, you can see here, play through the loop, heavy precipitation over Eastern Europe, over Iberia. We're seeing some rains and thunderstorms blowing up here. thanks to that area of low pressure cutting off underneath the high that is building over the UK. But it's once we edge towards Monday, you can see here the precipitation showing up over Ireland initially, Northern Ireland, and then into the UK here. The question mark is going to be when this arrives is going to be interesting. I don't think we're going to completely wipe the heat out with this potentially. Temperatures, I think, still may edge above average across particularly the northern half of the UK well into next week here. But you can see the moisture moving across the UK, according to the ECMWF, sometime around Monday and into Tuesday morning. Let's have a quick look at the GFS model to see the timing of it and see what it's showing here. So play through the loop here of the GFS model. This is us moving into the day on Sunday. You notice here that the frontal system, according to the GFS model, is further back. This is as we move into the day on Tuesday of next week. You can see here we are starting to see moisture showing up over parts of England and Wales. Not so much across Scotland, if you notice. Let's put on the 850s just to see what it's showing here. And see, yeah, we are seeing fresher air moving in. But before we get there, we are going to see the warmest air by a long shot, particularly so across Scotland and up into parts of Scandinavia. Now that cooler air moves in, but you notice here that we are fighting against some real warmth. Temperatures at 850 over southern Norway of 15 Celsius. That's really, really high temperatures for this far north. And you notice here that it's kind of drifting back in over the top of the UK. Let's have a very quick look then at the ECMWF to see what it is indicating. Quite a different story. Notice here there's much more widespread fresher air moving in associated with the ECMWF. So a lot of uncertainty with regards to this. But you can see here the 15 Celsius temperature at 850 encompassing the north of the UK. That we've not seen that so far. And then fresh air moving in, and then again flirting with something warmer. But the ECMWF is holding on. This is all the way out to the end of next week, by the way. So if we skirt back to the middle of the week, you can see here still warmer air flirting with the UK. I think Tuesday we could still see some very warm to hot weather across the British Isles here. So let's then look at the latest of the UK Met model here and see what it's indicating regarding temperature, because the modelling is becoming more aggressive. Not just the UK Met model, but the GFS, the ECMWF, and other models are now suggesting that we have a greater possibility of seeing 30 Celsius along the Murray coast. Sunshine and south to southeasterly winds may approach site records in this part of Scotland as we move through the course of the weekend. So during the course of Thursday, it looks like we'll see the first 30 across parts of the Midlands and south of England. Here you can see that quite clearly. Temperatures into the mid-20s in eastern Scotland. Then moving into the day on Friday, we're starting to climb into the high 20s. Even the UK Met model is indicating 29 Celsius in Aberdeenshire during the course of Friday. Look at the England and Wales temperatures, 33, 34 Celsius, even 30 all the way up into North Yorkshire. But then as we move into the day on Saturday, things get really interesting. We've got 30 showing up in eastern Scotland, northeastern Scotland, 26, 27, 28 across the far north. Then into the day on Sunday, it's indicating quite a few spots approaching 30 in the north of Scotland. And what's significant, there's a 35 Celsius across the northwest, north, the border between England and Wales, essentially up into the Liverpool area, Manchester. We're talking about the temperatures of 32 to 33 Celsius. Significant warmth for sure, even up into the north and northeast of Wales. But what is significant about Scotland in particular, and let's not forget we could approach 30 Celsius, if not exceed it in Northern Ireland. What's significant about this, and I know it's difficult to see, but in the deep dive of the Met Office yesterday afternoon, it did Alex Deacon, I couldn't think of his name there, Alex Deacon had actually brought some station records up, and it's showing 31.2, 31.6 around the Kinloss, Lossiemouth area, 29.1 in Inverness, 31.3 in Aviemore here, 29.8 Celsius up in Altnahar, 29.3 in Kinbrace. These records may be threatened, possibly, as we move through the course of the weekend here. All-time records, by the way, that is as well. So, yeah, we will certainly be watching this going forward here over the next few days, but certainly it will get warm to very warm. And a part of the world that is not accustomed to seeing temperatures in the upper 20s to low 30s. It doesn't happen very often, I must admit. And the potential widespread nature of this is possibly something even to take hold of. Looking then at the ECM, the GFS ensemble, you can see here the pressure building over the UK and Ireland as we progress through the weekend. Then the core of that high actually shifts up into the north. The temperatures are rising as we progress through Friday and into Saturday. You can see here the pressure lower over Central Europe, over the southwest, over Iberia. Temperatures will be suppressed here with much more instability in the atmosphere. Continue to play through as we move into the early portions of next week. There's that trough that's then edging towards Ireland and southwestern UK. Temperatures may still hold in the upper 20s to low 30s even as we move into the early portions of next week. But it's all about timing, cloud cover, rainfall, etc., etc. So it looks as if the GFS ensemble has higher pressure down towards Iberia, higher pressure up towards the north, with a slice of lower pressure in between as we progress towards the middle portions of next week. More in the medium to long range in the next couple of days. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow with more. Bye for now.